good day every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
And we're live from our studios here at Adisawe in Accra. Very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. This is News 360. My name is Nana Ikuya Mensah Brampa.
I am Alfred Okonse. Coming up tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxipade.
Having insecticide spray and coil.
Piccadilly biscuits.
And
My Life Insurance.
Resume work or face dismissal. National Labour Commission tells striking judicial service staff after securing interlocutory injunction. Meanwhile, leadership of JUSAC has called the bluff of the commission.
Also tonight, government says 300 million cedis in taxes has been saved due to the introduction of Kelny GVG.
Research fellow with the Institute of Fiscal Studies says Minority Caucus gives government 48 hours to apologize to the chiefs and people of the Volta region for omitting the region in upcoming road constructions. Government says it was an oversight.
Also tonight, government says the research fellow, with the Institute for Fiscal Studies says government revenue target for 2020 is overly ambitious.
And on the international front, 3 students injured in latest school shooting in California, U.S.
We're live on DSTV channel 279 all across the world, on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, also on DSTV channel 279. To our first story this evening, some litigants have expressed frustration over money and time lost due to the strike by the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. They expect authorities to hasten the process of dealing with the issues that have led to the strike. But let me just say that we're just getting information that that strike action has been called off. This is news just coming through that the JUSAC strike has been called off. But over the last 24 hours, let's take a look at how that strike took a toll on the work of the Judicial Service.
The nationwide strike continues to affect court proceedings and other activities at the courts. The absence of the staff on the first day sent a signal to lawyers and litigants, which has affected attendance to court because both groups are now aware of the strike. Unlike the first day, which had litigants frustrated because they were unaware of the strike, they too had many of them not present, especially at the circuit courts, which on an ordinary day is inundated with numerous cases. Though judges are present in their chambers, they are unable to hear cases. Some litigants expressed frustration over the matter and called on authorities to speed up processes to get the workers back.
My case, I have to go back to my house. Somebody is in my house and my things are packed outside there. Rain is beating my things every day. That's what is affecting me. So I want the court to come back and take everybody's case. Innocent people are crying there.
What annoys me is you have to pay the lawyer for him to come. I think for his transport, that one, it is a must. But the fellow is here, west, the thing still now. Stand still.
The workers' refusal to call off the strike is a direct denial of the directive from the Judicial Service that the strike is illegal.
The situation here at the law court complex is somehow different from the circuit court, because here you can see some few people trooping in to find out exactly what is happening, but obviously stranded because of the strike. But the judicial service staff think that they are on the right path, whilst the judicial service, their employers, believe that it is illegal for them to be on this particular strike. From the law court complex here in Accra, Godfrey Tanam for TV3 News.
Right, so earlier the National Labour Commission secured an interlocutory injunction to compel striking members of JUSAC to resume work. According to the Executive Secretary of the Commission, failure of the leadership of the to comply could lead to their dismissal, and the leadership of JUSAC also earlier called the bluff of the National Labour Commission.
The National Labour Commission was surprised. The leadership of JUSAC defied its directive. The Commission directed that JUSAC members should resume work, but failed. Despite incessant plea from the Judicial Council and other bodies, JUSAC has refused to back down. Currently, the Labour Commission has secured a court order compelling JUSAC to resume work. Ofosu Asamoah is the Executive Secretary of the Commission.
See, when you fail to comply with a court order, one, by not going to work, you could lose your job. Staying home is illegitimate. Yes, you don't have the right to stay at home when legitimate must be at work. So you lose your emoluments in the first place, you lose your job in the second place. And as a failing to comply with an order of a court or the commission, could also have other criminal sanctions. So that one, yeah.
So you have finally secured the interlocutory order?
Yes, by the Justice Sophia Sewa Butchi, sitting as a High Court judge in Financial Court too.
But the president of JUSAC, Alessanete, has called the bluff of the commission.
The commission has the powers of the High Court, and this is rare only when they have a High Court endorsing what they think of our action. They can't sit in their office and tell us that what we are doing is illegal. They should go to court to authenticate their assertion.
Although the NLC has described the strike as illegal, JUSAC is still not perturbed about the implications. The Labour Commission has warned them to resume work or risk forfeiting their salaries.
Engage in an illegal strike, you will not be paid. You will not be paid. And the government, I am sure, will not pay them because the commission, this time, there are too many illegal strikes. So sitting home, there are people in prisons who are on remand, and they are supposed to be brought to court to get their freedom. Because of these strikes, all of them are there.
But President of JUSAC, Alessanete, says the commission does not have the mandate to describe their strike as illegal.
When we are served with any side notice, we will treat it within the framework of the law.
But you know that the position of the law currently cites you for contempt.
Who says so? Let me tell you, legality or illegality of a thing can only be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction. So who are those who are saying that our action is illegal?
JUSAC has since cautioned the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, to stay away from its conditions of service.
So let's just reiterate the news just coming through that the JUSAC strike has been called off. So what that essentially means is that this interlocutory injunction that was secured by the National Labour Commission really wouldn't apply for that matter. But that's the development right now. So we've just been recalling the impact of this JUSAC strike over the last 24 hours. That's the situation as it looks like. The picture didn't look really good. So we'll bring you some more updates after this strike has been called off. But government is saying the introduction of the common platform which monitors the activities of telcos has uncovered operators under-declared some 300 million cedis in taxes between 2015 and the first quarter of 2017. Communications Minister Eslo Ekofo, who made this known, maintained the information and data has been forwarded to the Ghana Revenue Authority for necessary action.
The common platform has four main components, thus fraud management, traffic monitoring, revenue assurance, and mobile money monitoring. The minister said the common platform has resulted in more value and less cost to the state as it offers real-time monitoring of 2.5 billion transactions per day within the telecom sector. Esla Usu-Ekufo maintained the introduction of the common platform has resulted in savings of $1.1 million monthly over the previous contracts.
Uber and AfriWave were paying in excess of 2.5 million to both NTA and GRA. The common platform cost us 1.4 million a month for both agencies.
For the fraud management component, she noted SIM-box fraud has been kept since 2018 and made tax savings of over $205.6 million due to the state-of-the-art fraud management system known as Telecom.
It originates 150,000 international calls into Ghana every month to detect fraudulent SIM cards being used to generate those calls.
Again, she said regarding mobile money monitoring, the platform has recorded an average monthly usage of 29.1 billion cedis with 195.8 million transactions. She disclosed 71 million cedis is generated by the operators in transaction fees monthly and wondered why it is not being taxed.
I'm interested in the revenues that the mobile network operators earn from the transaction fees that all users of the service pay to them. And I think the GRA ought to be having a conversation with them about that.
She insisted the introduction of the common platform being run by Kelny GVG has uncovered that prior to its introduction, some 300 million cedis in taxes was lost to under-declarations on the part of the telcos.
We analyze communication service tax, VAT, NHIL, and Get Fund declarations to GRA from 2015 to date and noticed that prior to the announcement of the establishment of the common platform in 2017 March, there had been significant fluctuations and differences in the declarations made for VAT and CST. That information is made available to GRA and they carry on the conversations with the network operators.
Government commenced the monitoring of the activities of telcos after the establishment of the common platform, according to Section 14 of the Communication Service Tax Act 2008, Act 754, as amended by the Communication Service Tax Act 2013, Act 864.
Now, reacting to the call by the Communications Minister for government to consider taxing the profit telcos make from mobile money, a lead strategist with the Tax Justice Coalition, Geoffrey Okanse, said the telcos would pass it on to the consumers of the platforms. This, in his view, will further burden Ghanaians who use the mobile money platform.
Passing it on, they will not select, they will just pass it on massively, just like they did with the increment in the communication tax. They just passed it on to everybody else. And already existing gap is going to widen, just like it's always been. The telcos brought these initiatives there to actually accelerate business. And you are rightly saying they should tax it. They can tax it. They have the powers to tax it. But obviously, we should accept the fact that when they tax the telcos, they will pass it on to the consumers. And these persons are the same persons that will want to put proper policies in place to help them. So if you pass these taxes on to the consumer, to the telcos, you've done that. I mean, you can put the taxes there.
Well, the minority side and Parliament Health Committee has issued a 3-day ultimatum to President Akufo-Addo to distribute ambulances parked at the State House. Addressing the media in Parliament here in Accra, a ranking member on the committee, that's Kwabena Minta Akando, said it is wrong for the ambulances to be parked for months when they are needed in communities to help save lives.
In September 2019, President Akufo-Addo announced the arrival of the first batch of ambulances for all 275 constituencies in the country. The arrival of the ambulances is part of the fulfillment of a promise made by the President and the MPP in the build-up to the 2016 general elections. The statistics indicate that one ambulance is to some 520,000 Ghanaians across 20,000 Ghanaians, according to the Ghana Ambulance Service. But an enraged minority say the decision to keep the ambulances there are unjustified.
We have seen ambulances parked here for months. And you know the purpose for ambulance. The purposes are for emergency purposes. So if you buy ambulance and you park the ambulances without serving its purpose, how will the country benefit from the ambulances? And I've heard from the minister in charge of special initiative, and she says that they are going to do the distribution in 2020. From now, and in fact, from the time these ambulances were parked here till 2020, do you know the number of people who would die because they could not get access to ambulances?
They were clear in issuing an ultimatum.
The only time the taxpayer will get the full use and benefit from this investment is when these ambulances are in use. And therefore, I think that we are even being charitable. We are giving the president, because the bus will always stop at the president, maximum 3 days to distribute the ambulances.
Meanwhile, the Youth and Sports Minister Isaac Isiama says he is unable to answer questions on the Australian visa scandal as investigations has gone beyond his office.
Right Honourable Speaker, on the 6th of April 2018, this matter was referred to the Ministry of National Security for investigations. So, Speaker, I will therefore not be in a position to speak further on it. Once again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The matter, as indicated, is before the Ministry of National Security and not the court. Nothing bars you from speaking on a matter that's in the Ministry of National Security. So I want your guidance, Mr. Speaker, before I can proceed on that matter.
It's a very sensitive matter, and it is before national security. And the minister is telling you, I'm not ceased with a report yet from national security. How can he comment? So please, address any queries you may have to the relevant minister responsible for national security.
Stay with the minority because the Volta caucus is questioning the equitable distribution of the national cake over the 16 administrative regions in the country. Finance Minister in his budget reading on Wednesday failed to mention provisions in the budget for the Volta region. An enraged minority caucus has given the government 48 hours to apologize to the chiefs and people of the Volta region.
Further scrutiny of Table 21, which is the table in issue, revealed that all administrative regions in Ghana, except Volta region, was adequately catered for. It is also to be observed that, apart from Volta being conspicuously missing in the regional column, not a single road or bridge appears in the roads bridge column destined for the Volta region. We have noted attempts by the government functionary to explain why this cardinal sin, and perhaps the senior minister's explanation as this being an omission. Omission and mistake is untenable. The question is, when was the obvious mistake detected, and how come no correction have been effected as we speak? We condemn this unconstitutional conduct of the government and demand that within 48 hours, the chiefs and people of Volta region should be apologized to, and that the region should be immediately considered for its fair share of projects under the government critical road projects, failing which the minority would announce its next step of action.
It's not going to be only mentioning of those roads or showing us a paper that will contain names of roads. That should not be sufficient. There must be evidence from the budget. Because once the roads are being mentioned, there's cost attached to it. And that will have to change the amount that minister is appropriating or asking Parliament to appropriate to the executive. That must also change or increase.
So live here on News 360 now. In the early hours of today, many parts of Accra experienced some rains over 3 to 4 hours. Now, as is expected, few rains, huge amounts of flooding, we understand, in various places. What you're going to see, in fact, what you're seeing right now is the Kaswa SCC area in the early hours of this morning. As a result of the rains, vehicles stuck there in the rains, and also people unable to go through. And we understand 4 vehicles were carried by the flood waters into a drain. So that's what you see right there. I mean, they're not alone in this.
Yeah, I also heard the Obojo stretch.
Absolutely.
Also experienced the same thing. And it's been there for the past 2 years.
True.
Residents have been complaining for the past 2 years. It happens
in that Obojo area?
In that Obojo area. Every time it rains.
Pretty sad situation. Yeah. We'll keep an eye on this, and then we'll show you as well what's happening in that area as well. Stay with us here on News 360. We'll be back shortly.
I see to the day-to-day well-being of the students, and I must say that for 2 solid years, our buildings look new.
Bobo Girls Presbyterian Senior High School is still shining. Rain or shine, our buildings still shine.
Annual, the luxury acrylic paint would cool down one, and money brighter. The Union can say it lasts longer. That's all.
Indeed, the luxury acrylic paint is champion.
Girls don't play football. Those are for girls.
You can't do engineering, do arts.
You can't work. You should be a housewife.
Yes, she can. She can. She can.
Softcare gives you the best protection so you can do it all. Softcare's advanced comfort fit design naturally molds itself to your form, while its leak guard prevents your time of the month from getting in your way.
Soft, not weak.
Softcare, yes, she can.
Can you picture Jack? I don't know.
Is that not your wife?
Every time your children are falling sick, you don't have money.
Stop! Everyone! Baby.
Oh, stop.
What's the TV for tonight? You know, I like that sweet-scented insecticide spray. Little bit of the porch. Now, we are pretty living room hall. Bedroom, what do you hear? Me love you, me baby. Of course, I take very good care of my wife and children. So I always win. If you want to protect your family against mosquitoes, there's still this sweet scented perfume coil now. I repel mosquitoes. I know my mom will say baby. And the spray, also sweet scented. It kills all crawling and flying insects. Heaven insecticide. Oh, sharp no. Prevention is always better than Mausanka or Heaven insecticide spray. And in the coil, if you say heaven dear.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Choco cookies.
Piccadilly Choco Cookies, made with the finest Ghanaian cocoa. Now introducing Piccadilly Butter Cookies, a new addition to the Piccadilly family. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This big Itel S15, the amazing phone. You don't believe me? Check this out. Get your S15 now. Enjoy the best selfies with me.
The same Volta you've known for 20 years is changing with you. We're putting a twist on the new 500 ml bottle. Friendly for the environment with 7% less plastic. Enjoy. Twist, recycle. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Who wants to answer? Mary.
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because the tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in a tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate. Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities for maximum cavity protection. And now available at a never-before price of 20 Ghana pesos.
The Business News segment is brought to you by MTN 4G Plus, Universal Merchant Bank,
Roma Insecticide Spray and Coil.
A very good evening to you. Thanks for staying with us here on News 360. Let's look at the latest from the world of business now, looking at our post-budget analysis after yesterday's presentation by the finance minister. Well, an energy analyst, Kwadwo Poku, has indicated the suspension of the signing of more power purchase agreements is in the right direction, but government needs to make sure demand does not outstrip supply in the near future. Government has placed a complete moratorium on the signing of new power purchase agreements. Now, this is expected to reduce the burden of the excess capacity challenges in the energy sector.
In line with the decision taken in July mid-year, has formally instructed sector ministry, department and agencies as follows: to suspend all ongoing negotiations on PPAs and GSAs, energy, gas and purchase agreements, or any other long-term take-or-pay contracts for power or gas until further notice. The government has placed a complete moratorium on the signing of new PPAs, GSAs and put-call option agreements, and hereby instructs ECG, GMPC, GNGC and VRA to abstain from entering into any new PPAs, GSAs, LNG SPAs, long-term take-or-pay contracts, and POs until discussions with Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Finance.
An energy analyst, Kwadwo Poku, is of the view government has to monitor the situation closely to ensure sustainable supply of power.
Between now and the next 5 years, I think in terms of signed PPAs and what has come on, we are good. The only problem is that we've put a moratorium on it now, but we need to keep our eye on the processes. There should be a monitoring team that will be looking at our demand as compared to the supply. So at the time when we feel there's a need to engage more IPPs to come on board, we do it at the right time.
He noted the country stands to benefit hugely from car power becoming the main off-taker of Sankofa gas from the Western Enclave.
The gas is cheaper, being it for production of electricity as compared to HFO, which otherwise we would have to import and pay more for electricity bill. So in the future, we'll realize that it would reflect, and it should reflect, in the prices that we pay as a nation towards electricity.
Minister of Finance Ken Ofori-Atta also disclosed that ECG will still have a private firm to partner it after the termination of the PDS deal.
Again, a research fellow with the Institute of Fiscal Studies, Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, has described as overly ambitious government's revenue targets for year 2020. The finance minister in the budget statement said government is aiming at increasing the tax to GDP ratio from 13% to 20% in 2020. George Quinny has more in this report.
Many industry players have touted the 2020 budget as a promising one. Although the government has met its revenue targets over the years, it is still hopeful that it can generate some 67.1 billion cedis in revenue in 2020. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, described this target as part of the radical policy and institutional reforms towards raising the tax-to-GDP ratio over the medium term. But a research fellow with the Institute for Fiscal Studies, Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, described as overly ambitious government's revenue targets for 2020.
We need to, stop the over-concentration on the production of oil and gas and then move on to the agri sector and the manufacturing sector. I want to see the 1D, 1F intensified. The manufacturing is a subsector of the industrial sector. So I want to see more done in that sector because these are the sectors that can create the needed jobs. You can see that you have doubled economic GDP growth rate, but still there's little to show in terms of job creation. That is because the areas that are feeding the job creation are in the extractive sectors, and not many jobs can be created from this.
Development economist Felix Larry Silfi described the budget as a good one as government was realistic with figures.
The problem I have is that with all this growth that we have experienced, these figures that have been churned out, if you go out there and then do just a random selection of ordinary Ghanaians and talk to them, you see that the complaint is that they didn't feel it in their lives. And for me, development is not complete until it is seen in the lives of people.
Dean of the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Dr. John Kweku Mensah Mautor, however, cautioned government against budget overruns, as that is mostly the case in electioneering years.
The introduction of the 1D, 1F, if we have some companies that will really produce things that will reduce our importation, automatically our CD will surely perform. It will be stabilized. But you cannot trust a politician during the electioneering year. In fact, we don't have any test case. They've all failed when it comes to expenditure during elections.
On his part, development economist Dr. George Domfe entreated government to ensure the production of more local food in a bid to stabilize the city.
In as much as government is putting pressure on the banks to reduce lending rate to reflect the decreases in the policy rate, government must also work hard to make sure the business environment is very conducive so that the bank risk ratio will go down. And once bank risk ratio is very low, the banks will definitely reduce lending rate. And when the lending rates go down, what it means is that those in businesses are going to take more loans to expand.
Meanwhile, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, seeks parliamentary approval to spend some 86 billion cedis in 2020.
Right, so let's move away from post-budget analysis now. And the Accra Brewery Limited has awarded this week's winners of the One Ghana, One Club promo. The two lucky winners were presented with a cash prize of 5,000 Ghana cedis each. According to the marketing head, Irefua Ado Itua, the new promo is to reward loyal consumers before and during Christmas celebrations.
After decades of bringing friends and families together with club beer, the Accra Brewery Limited, ABL, saw the need to refresh the label as the brand continues to grow. Dubbed One Ghana, One Club, the promotion will reward consumers with some amazing prizes. Consumers stand the chance of winning airtime, mobile money, and an ultimate weekly prize of 5,000 Ghana cedis.
There are two things that we are most passionate about over here. One, Ghana, and two, Club Beer, which has been refreshing Ghanaians since 1931. And so we said that we're going to unveil this One Ghana, One Club promotion, which we launched at the Black Star Square. If anybody purchases a bottle of large Club Beer, they'll see a code under the crown, and that code they need to text it to 1931 for a chance to win.
Emmanuel Ayalitige, who traveled all the way from the Upper East region, joined his colleague Wisdom Kubajo to receive their prizes. They were presented with 5,000 Ghana cedis each.
I'm a fan of Club Beer, so anytime I buy Club, under the crown, there's a code there, so I just text it to 1931. This is very real, and I'll tell Ghanaians to keep drinking Club Beer. because that's the only beer we have in Ghana.
To me, I was not all that lucky because if I'm with friends, they have airtimes and other things. But I will be told that I'm still on that promo, and I continue doing that. Today, I'm a lucky person to have 5,000 Ghana cedis.
Club Beer has since 1931 brought refreshments to Ghanaians. The new label features the colors of the Ghana flag bordered by gold, resting on an intricate pattern, delivering its rich colors that signify the coming together of elements to celebrate and highlight Ghanaian passion, quality, and craftsmanship. The promotion ends on December 31, 2019.
And that's it from the world of business. Remember, there's more business news on 3news.com. But let's go back to one worrying issue we were talking about, Alfred, regarding the rainfall and what havoc or damage it's causing. We saw one from Weja, Tetegu, and I was talking about the one from Ogbojo. I'm sure we have some scenes there from Ogbojo.
Exactly. What you saw earlier, the Tetegu one you just talked about, and the situation at the SCC as well, which we showed before the break. But this situation, what you're about seeing right now is what happened at Ogbojo. Ogbojo is around the East Legon, Adjurgano area, where we understand a road is being constructed, and due to heavy rains and the flooding in that area, the contractor wants to ensure that his road doesn't get damaged, and as a result, has actually diverted a gutter to another portion of the area. And this is where they have the issue. Residents there actually sent us this video, and already without the diversion, the area gets flooded. And so the diversion by this contractor, in order to have him continue constructing his road at the expense of the residents there, is what has caused the flooding you're seeing there. So as it stands, they are almost through with the diversion. If it should rain again after this, it's going to be much more damaging or devastating than what you're seeing right now. So this is at Ogbojo, around East Legon, Adjurgano, and as it's seen right now, there's a diversion that's caused this flooding. And we're calling on authorities, as we're seeing right now, to be able to attend to the situation, intervene, and let's save some lives. Well said. Sad.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. But you're still live here on News 360. Stay with us. There's a lot more coming up.
How far can you go? When your village is connected to the global village, you go. When 30 million people have a bank in their pocket, they go. When 560 million of us can plug into a high-speed digital highway, we go. When you can use technology to teach where books can't reach, we all go. When over 5 million people have a job to do, and 4 million small businesses can make it big, they go. When you're driven by the unstoppable spirit of Africa, you go. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
This Tuesday at KFC,
stop.
Get 5 pieces of chicken.
Stop it.
For only 25 cedis.
It's been looking good.
I was recommended to use bio oil on a small scar and have been so pleased by the results. With a little makeup, you can hardly see it.
Do you need stage of all sizes, lighting and effects, pipe and drapes, PA or sound, camera equipment and grip, LED screens, pit barriers and fences, power units and more? For small, medium and large venues, concerts, parties, product launches, corporate events, exhibitions, TV and documentary productions, awards and fashion shows, conferences, and more. Call us on 0244 250 197 or 0233 991 126 or visit www.eeghana.com. EE Ghana, your one-stop shop for all events and equipment.
No. This is for your mom. She loves me because of my frutelli.
It's Akosia home. Would you like my fruitelli?
Fruitelli, all natural fruit juice and the perfect way to the heart. Who loves you because of your fruitelli?
Sports News segment is brought to you by
Airtel Tigo,
Sasso insecticide spray and coil,
Cowbell,
Barclays, part of the Absa family.
Hello, good evening. It's time to do sports here on News 360. My name is Yao Ofusula. Now, there are two crucial games for Ghana. But first, let's begin from the national under-23 side. That's the Black Meteors, where they are currently in Egypt at the moment. And they need to win against Mali. And they're leading by 1-0 in that game. And hopefully, they can hold on up until the end of the game. Because Egypt are beating Cameroon at the moment. If Egypt wins against Cameroon and Ghana wins against Mali, then there's a qualification berth for Ghana to get into the semi-final stage. Now, the Black Meteors, if they qualify, could get a place into the 2020 Tokyo Olympics in that one. It's been quite a while since the Black Meteors made it to that stage. That was in 2004 in a team captained by Yusuf Chipsa. And I'll just straight to another update now. And the Black Stars have just scored, goal scored by Thomas Partey in the 36th minutes of the game there. And the Cape Coast Stadium is really in an exciting mood at the moment there. It's full to the rafters. And hopefully the Black Stars can pick up the maximum 3 points. Don't forget, in our group, Sudan and Sao Tome are also in there. And they Sudan won against Sao Tome by 4-0. And Ghana needs that win today to consolidate a place at the top of the group. When Group C is Ghana, South Africa, Sudan, and Sao Tome and Principe. Let's move on now to some other stories now. Well, now let's go to some international stories. And Thierry Henry has taken over as coach of Major League Soccer side Montreal Impact. Now, the former France and Arsenal striker has signed a 2-year deal, which has an option for 2022 with the club. Now, Henry, who was sacked as Monaco manager in January, spent 4.5 years with MLS side New York Red Bulls before retiring as a player in December 2014. Montreal failed to make the playoffs last season and parted company with coach Wilmer Cabrera when his contract ran out at the end of the campaign. Well, now, technology in football has caused frustration and controversy since its introduction at the start of the season. Now, at a meeting on Thursday in England, Mike Riley gave a full appraisal of the VAR, with clubs discussing their grave concerns. Now, the Premier League has promised to improve VAR's consistency and speed and increase communication with fans.
I think we're probably pretty much where we'd expect to be. I mean, the most important thing to say is that we're 12 weeks in, and we always said it was going to take quite a while for everyone to be comfortable with how we're implementing VAR within the Premier League. It's a case of people expect everything to be correct straight away. They want 100% accuracy, they want decisions made quickly, changed if, in their opinion, it needs changing. But that was never going to happen. We did numerous presentations over the summer just explaining that the one thing VAR wouldn't provide was 100% accuracy in football because there's just so much subjectivity within it. And obviously that's been the case. So decisions have been made on the field, but we wanted to stop in a place where the referee still goes out week in, week out and referees the game. We didn't want to start re-refereeing a game from Stockley Park, from looking at a screen. So the referee goes out, makes his natural decisions, and we've always said we'd have this very high bar. From the IFAD protocol, it's classed as a clear and obvious error. So, but what is a clear and obvious error? That's probably hard to put into words, to be honest. Honestly, from how it started this season, I knew from all the...
Well, that's Mike Riley there, who's a former Premier League referee now in charge of VAR, talking about the system's efficiency. But just an update on the Black Meteors game. It's 2-0 for the Black Meteors there. Kwabena Usu, the man who plays in Spain, is the man who got the second goal there for Ghana. But the Black Meteors will only have to rely now on Egypt if they can win against Cameroon to qualify to the next stage of the competition. My name is Yao Ofusulabi, and that's all the sports this evening here on News 360. The national news after this break.
Before we can taxi you. Still really appreciate the extra trainer and just have a good one.
Minute! You're my tail. I'm trying to lose them. You come.
Rescue, 1 and something Kennedy.
Switch to 121.5. That's hold your position. That emergency aircraft.
For 20 years, Cowbell has been inspiring and nurturing dreams with the right combination of nutrition and great taste of Cowbell milk. It's so good for their future. That's so bright. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hala! Wow! Sweetheart, my appreciation for fixing the insecticide mosquito net. It's saving us money from hospital and medical bills.
I'm glad. Now you know the benefit of sleeping under insecticide mosquito net every night through the night. This is the way you can prevent yourself from malaria. You say, oh, Oshibadi, you're always listening to your friends.
Don't worry at all. I've started telling them about the benefits. Very soon, they will be coming into our house to say thank you to us.
First, dry it in the shade 48 hours or more. If it's dirty, you can use mild soap to wash it gentle. If it's torn, you can sew it. Don't give mosquito chance.
And there is a bonus after this.
Man, this is what you get when you care for your family.
Let's come together and drive malaria away for good life. This advert is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service.
How you doing?
I'm just chilling.
So cool, so good. Try Cocoa Pine, the newest flavor from Fan Yogo, the coolest snack under the sun.
Fan Milk.
Thanks for staying with us on News 360. Now, she was disowned by her father after refusing to marry his maternal uncle at age 13. She is subjected to labor to fend for herself while living on her own. Stanley Niblo reports the ordeal of little Esther, a Form 1 junior high school student at Nkwanta in the Oti region.
Papa na ko ware mi mami oko pen no na me uncle fo no omo si ntino fa ni sister ba ko mbransa no mba fa mi mami no no so ni sister ntebe se o won kwala oba na ne ba na yo oba no on ba be fa no so no ma ko ware no Papa Jusu.
This is how Esther's ordeal began. Her father was anxious to give her out for marriage at a tender age of 13 in accordance with custom. Esther's family belongs to the Kokomba tribe, and tradition requires a man to exchange his sister for the potential wife he wants to marry. In a situation where the man has no sister to offer, his daughter becomes an obvious choice. This is the predicament Esther finds herself. She fled home after 3 attempts to capture and marry her off to her 25-year-old uncle at age 13. Eventually, she was disowned by her father while the mother could not do enough to protest her husband's decision. The poor vulnerable girl, who is now 15, relocated from her parents' community to Nkwanta and enrolled herself in school. Since then, she has been laboring to fend for herself.
School, to me, shame, so Nti papa aja ma mi kwa na ebe de obama 5 cedi ebe 3 cedi obama mi na wayem kunkunta mam na waya buru amam na mi sma pe nkurma.
Esther says she could no longer bear the ordeal.
Me kaya na ya me ya na me akwala tutu asem nkase wesi so se na be.
She is currently living with her 17-year-old namesake in a rented apartment they acquired with proceeds from their egg business. Both are going through difficult times. After school, the 2 teenagers sell eggs bought on credit so they could earn a living the next day.
When you went and sell things, when you are back, how you will be tired. You can't learn. So when you will be learning, you will be feeling sleeping. So if you do not sell to, you can't get money to buy what is your needs and your wants.
During menstruation, they borrow sanitary pads from vendors to make themselves comfortable and pay with profits from their egg business. Their teachers are worried about the abuse of teenage girls in the area. School authorities have formed Girls' Club to empower them to demand their rights in society.
If you are in certain situation whereby your mother is forcing you to be in marriage at this time of your age, you have to tell your mother no. If your mother is not understanding you, then you have to get some elderly person from your community or society where they can talk to your parents.
When our girls are well informed through the club, nobody will sit somewhere to deceive these girls that come for probably 1 cedi so that you do this, and by the close of the day, the girl will end up falling in hands of that irresponsible male adult by impregnating or forcing that girl into marriage.
The landlord has prioritized the security of the girls.
Me sure say me ye obi ya, me dey so be ya mama. Me kunu so na ni ya hye. Dan bi so mo ma beduru aha no, odi nsem pia to o manim se on pe se o kina obi mba ba ha, o kina we se mabusianfo on pe.
World Vision Ghana, as part of its core mandate, has been lending support to the girls. Nkwanta Cluster Manager Salome Yeboah is confident of changing their fortunes.
We've been organizing end child marriage in our campaigns in the communities. And we've tried to bring on board the traditional leaders who actually take greater decisions when it comes to some of these things. And we believe that this...
Well, we're taking a breather here. We'll return with some international news. Stay with us.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
The same Voltic you've known for 20 years is changing with you. We're putting a twist on the new 500 ml bottle. Friendly for the environment with 7% less plastic. Enjoy. Twist Recycle. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This big Idol S15, the amazing forward. You don't believe me? Check this out. Get your S15 now. You're the best service with me.
Ma, I'm for phoning your quick call and sawako.
Hey, it would also put a sound network way. I'm more credit in data fiano. Oh, Nick Shin, you don't know what so. What is a Vodafone? A double red 1, red 2, and red 5 offers. Yeah, double into swap up a bit. Na 5 cities any day. Jai. Uber Casa, 250 minutes. Na data no, and it's also 250 megabytes. I na benya way. I just a hanko.
Hey, mommy, and I said they may finish a corner quick na call.
Hey, Apostle. Ube Jane, and yes, Ube Bressa.
Switch to Vodafone and enjoy double into swap on red bundles of 1, 2, and 5 CDs. Enjoy double talk minutes to call all networks and double data to browse. Vodafone always gives you more. Terms and conditions apply.
Vodafone double into swap the
Our future is exciting. Ready?
Welcome back on International